Hey, what's up, lucky gamers? Today we have a little bit of a long video. This is going to be mainly talking about what you want to do for your accounts. Going to be talking about how to prepare for like raid teams, which you want to be looking at for gear, characters that you want to level. Because honestly, like a lot of people just don't know where they need to take their accounts. So that's all we're going to be talking about in this video. So again, a little bit of a long one, but if you can bear with it, I really do greatly appreciate it because I have a lot of information in it. Anyways, guys, if you like the video, please hit the like button, comment down below what you guys think, and subscribe to the channel if you guys want more AG content or just want some more of my other content. And then you can catch me at Twitch at twitch.tv, Lucky Lux Gaming. But anyways, let's go and hop into the video. All right, guys. So when I say like plan for your account, just kind of start to think about like what you want for your account in the future, right? Like you really want to think ahead, especially if you're a free to play player, just to help make sure you just don't fall behind, right? So most of us like on our accounts, we're sitting with like tons and tons of like fodder and stuff. Like I know I am. So what should I be doing with all of this fodder? Who should I be upgrading? Like who do I need to focus on? Which is all great and valid questions. Also, you guys have like a lot of gear chips. So like what gear should you be upgrading? A lot of good, valid questions. So for one, like we're not seeing any change in PvP. So like PvP right now is just speed cleave meta. So for those of you who are like heavily invested into PvP, not much is changing for you, not until we start getting some units that change some things, like when we start getting revive meta, we start getting like some better tanks and stuff like that. So I really don't have any information for PvP right now. Like I know a lot of people are doing some crazy things now, building some anti-cleave. Like with Lila, we have Ryslin. A lot of people are starting to get their Deans building out Herons with a bunch of HP. But PvP content is like kind of still just speed cleave meta mostly, so no information on that. We're mainly talking PvE. We're talking some PvE in-game content. Just want to put that out there because someone did bring that to my attention when I talk about a lot of characters. So just wanted to say that. So we're just talking PvE right now. But anyways, we know that we're getting a red raid, right? We all know this. We all know who's been saying this. Like Tamias has been putting out pretty much mostly a lot of information, so we know we're getting a red raid. So what does that mean? So from what I've seen on the raids, it's been 3 teams of 4, obviously, right? So 12 units, which means to a lot of people like I need 12 units built out, right? And a lot of people think there's no way I could get gear for 12 people. So that's a very, very valid point. And from a lot of games that I've played that have like raids and different things like that, typically you don't need all 12 fully built out. Even when I've done Blue Archive, I've done Epic 7 and everything like that, you really need just like maybe a solid 2. And then like your third would be just to kind of clean up, right? But having a solid 2 is preferred. If you can't even do a solid 2, then do maybe a 1.5 or something. And what I mean by that is like, so you go to your teams, all right, let's say we're building a squad. First squad, let's say this is your first squad, right? We have a healer, a support, a defense breaker, and a DPS. This is typically what you want for a raid team. And knowing that it's going to be a red, right? We have blues. Having a red healer is no problem at all, right? And then if we get cream before that, then cream will just make this even better, which cream is a really, really fantastic healer. But, if you choose not to get her, then that's on you. There are other healers that you can use, which I will talk about that. And I have them leveled, right? So this is your typical team. Most of us already have this team geared out, right? Like most of us can already beat Centaur stage 9 with this team. Even if it's a little shaky, you can still beat it. So then when you're looking like, so where do you go from here? So that's when you start looking at some other options, right? So you start looking like, okay, so I don't have, let me filter this way I want to. Yeah. So we're looking at healers. So you're like, all right, so Morris, we're already using her. So who do I use next? So you have Heron, Heron's a great healer. Even though she's a green, if you build her up like with decent HP, she's not gonna die, right? She just heals a lot, especially if she has a good amount of max HP. She gives action bar to herself and other allies. Her S2 is really good with action bar push, so she's a really solid healer. You got Kamaki. Kamaki gives a speed boost and a defense boost, which helps keep your people alive. With 31% of their max HP, which helps out, especially because like if you don't have your Kamaki like fully like maxed out and like leveled, you would expect her heals not to be so great. 31% is still a decent, modest amount. And then S2 is going to be basically 40% of their max HP and rejuvenation, which is quite a bit of heals. And these are like 3-turn heal and then 4-turn heal. So really decent heal. Diane, it's like with her, it's like you can get up some decent heals. She can give you some buffs if you don't mind the Russian roulette with her buffs on her S3, and then she kind of buffs on her S2, giving you some boosts. Like it's not like a lot of these boosts here are not a problem. Like great attack, critical chance, crit damage. It's just your runs are going to be a little inconsistent. So yeah, just think about that when you're using her. And then Nasa, like she's a DPS healer. She gets a bonus turn, so she can grant somebody invincibility. She restores based off of her attack, so you just have to build her like just really, really heavy into attack, which is not really the greatest. And I haven't seen anybody build out Nisa to 6-star full attack set and everything like that yet. So I can't give a full analysis of her. Maybe one day I'll level her up, max her out and everything like that. But she's just, at first, it just seems a little like just hard to kind of build her. So we're just going to focus on Morris, Heron, and Komaki though. So second team, we have Heron, right? So Heron, we have in our healer slots. All right, and so for your support, you're gonna be looking at characters like Quinn. You can even use Neo because Neo gets the attack up. So anybody who can give like an attack up, extra damage, or anything like that. So for this slot, I'm gonna say someone like Quinn because that's what I have, right? So now we have our healer and we have a support who can do action bar, pushback, and also can buff on my team with attack up and defense. So now we're looking at somebody who can go into this slot who is a defense breaker, a debuffer, right? So right now, defense break is one of the strongest debuffs that you can have for your team, right? So if you are free to play, you might be noticing that you're running out of blues to use. So then you can use reds. Like as a free to play, if we're going against a red boss, use reds and blues. If you have the characters, then obviously use blues. So if you're looking at other options to use, like as a red for defense break, right? You're not exactly sure. You have Greer. Greer has a defense break on her S3. You do have Ryza. If you want to use Ryza on her counter, it's not exactly easy to like. It's not as easy to get it because you have to wait to be attacked. You have Shura. If you want defense drop, have Milvis technically for defense drop. If you're that serious main, you have defense drop on Sirius as S1. I know you have Ghost. Trying to think. Let's see. You have Verbena. She has defense break on her, S1 and another ability, I believe. And then you also have defense break on Foxy and also Neo as well. Neo has it on her S2. I know this because I've been doing it on my 3-star count. So those are some characters that you have that you can use for defense break. So for a couple of people, for your second, for my team, for a defense break, if I were to use somebody, right, for a second team, I would probably use like, I'm trying to think. I have so many characters. I'd probably use Shura, just me personally, because I already have Shura like leveled. So I know this is kind of like a whale-ish situation, but it's fine. So we have a defense break, we have attack up, speed up, we have action bar manipulation with Heron. So who we're going to use in this 4 slot? So this is where you can use, let's just say Lila, right? Most of us have Lila. You can use a red, like, you want to use a single target, so you can also use like Serial. You can use Ghost. You can use Nina. You can use Korax. If you have a super built out Shinobu, I don't know about Toka. I don't know about Michelle. I know she's kind of a little bit different. I haven't tried out Michelle at all, really. You can use. Let me see. Ruri and Grace and all them, they're AoE. If you don't have any other options, you can do that. You can also, for a blue damage, let me not forget about her. You can also use Kana. I know a lot of you guys are just like, what are you talking about? If you've ever watched my 3-star account on the streams, Kana does a lot of damage. She has really high scaling on this, and she can increase the cooldown of the target skills. This is pretty good. She can survive a little bit with her dodge, but she does really decent damage, especially with a decent set, so I wouldn't sleep on her. So you can also use Kana. I know I'll be using her. So for this, since we have it available, we can have Lila. So this is a whole second team, right? And then for third team, we're going to go to Kamaki. And then for a buffer, action bar manipulation, so we're going against a red boss, so you have to think, who can I use to buff up attack, different things like and different things. So at this is kind of like our bottom team. We're probably not going to have as much gear for this team, but for like ease of use, I'm probably going to suggest to you guys to use Neo because she's free, right? She gives an attack buff and a defense break, so you can kind of like coordinate how you want to use that with your people. So for this last team as well, like, you know, I'm not going to have the skills upgraded on these characters. Like, they're not going to be fully maxed. And now we're looking for a defense break, right? So there's a couple of options that a couple of you guys can use at this point. Me personally, I would suggest to use either Verbena for the defense break, or you can even use Foxy. If you ever did Foxy with the what was it, for like the alternative team to beat Centaur with, you can use her, and she does have a crit boost for you. So, and that's every 4 turns, and it so that's not the worst. It can help you line up your DPS if you want, right? You also have Career you can use, and Career has Corrosion, which helps out with a little extra damage. And she does, she has a Daydream Joker if you're from Epic 7. So I would probably put on like Greer kind of to just help out. So yeah, kind of a little bit of a 3-star team. You could also use Ghost. I don't have Ghost on this account. You could also do Ghost. Verbena, I don't have Verbena upgraded, and Greer just doesn't seem like a bad option, especially if my gear is starting to decline. And so for this 4th slot, I'm going to be needing a single target character who can do some damage. So I could totally do Serial. And I'm thinking, because I don't really have a red single target I want to use. So, or I could also do Korax, but I don't have Korax level on this account. I don't have Nina on this account, so don't have that option. So yeah, so this would be like my 3 raid squads, right? So we got Morris, Alice, Shahaya, Ginga, basic Centaur team, Heron, Quinn, Shura, Lila, and then Komaki, Neo, Greer, Serial. Based off of who you have, you know, you can do this. But like, again, like if you're a free-to-play player, you're gonna probably have a lot more reds in this. You want to have as many blues as you can. So, but again, like a lot of you guys are like, okay, so what do I do? So like, this is how you can play in your teams. This is how you're like, okay, I have all this fodder, I have all these things, let me start making my 3 raid squads and boost those people, right? This is where I talk about like where greens right now aren't really used. You know, some of you guys are probably going to be like, oh, I would throw my Sirius in there. It's like, okay, sure. But like, you know, it's more realistically, a red and a blue is just a lot better right now, because if you're free to play, reds work on reds and greens, blues work on blues and reds. So that just gives you a lot right now. So hopefully next boss ends up being a blue, and then not a blue, but ends up being a no, it can be a blue, because we have a lot of blues right now, especially if you just got Lila. You just have to take out some of the reds that you have, which like in this setup, I don't have too many reds, and by that time we get a red boss, I'll have like cream here or something like that. So yeah, it wouldn't be that bad if we got a red boss next. If we got a green one, it would kind of suck, because we don't have a lot of people don't have as much red, especially since they didn't get like Nina. A lot of people didn't get Ryza, so you know that kind of sucks. But so if I'm looking at what I want to do for my team, I'm looking at like, okay, I want to 6-star these people. So I know I have all this fodder. Here's 2 6-stars right here that I need to get. Here's 1 6-star right here I need to get. And then here's 3 6-stars right here. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 6-stars, right? I can gear them. And then for gear, right? So we're going to be looking at, you know, how do I want to gear my people? So I would say like your first 2 teams, you want to have with the best gear possible that you can have. So you want to look at like, okay, so I need to have like speed sets on my people to be speed tuned. You want to have some health on your healers, right? You want to have DPS, and you want to have DPS, of course, like either a crit damage set or an attack set on your DPS. And then you can have your debuffers with like status accuracy, right? That's how you're going to be building your teams. You're going to have speed on your healer and support, status accuracy and speed on your debuffer, and then full DPS on your DPS characters. Of course, like if you know your characters, you could do differently. I'm saying that's just a, you know, a basic kind of thing, because you want to make sure that your debuffers can act before Alice does, or before any other enabler does, just depending on how you build your team, right? We build Centaur where Chihaya goes first, then we have Alice, and then the DPS goes, and then Morris comes in and gives you the extra push. So for, you know, if you're doing different teams, it's going to be a little bit different, but that's why you got to know the abilities of your characters anyways. So, but we're given a new lifesteal set. We know we have the attack set. A lot of you guys have been farming speed sets. So just make sure that you have your team speed tuned to know when you make the teams, like where you're going to have your DPS line up, where you're going to have your buffs line up. Just, you need to just know the timing of all that stuff. But start looking for gear. Now, for your first team, you want that to be your best gear. You want that to be where you do your most DPS, right? So you're probably going to have your DPS on the 6-star set that we have, right? You're going to put them on that set. You're going to start putting like your best speed, your best health and everything on your first healer, your support, have your Chihaya with the 100% crit rate and everything like that. Now we're going to the second team. What are you going to be having on your second team? Still can have speed, still can have health, might not be as high, right? But your DPS is most likely going to be either rocking like the crit set. Where is it at? I don't even have it leveled on this account. But the free crit set that we got from the Nina event, you might have. You might have the free lifesteal set that we just got on that DPS. You might have the 6-star, where is it? The 6-star attack set, the 5-star attack set that we have. And I know we got like 1 or 2 sets of that. So if you have that attack set, then you can definitely use that on your other DPSs. Use what you got, right? And then when you're looking at like gear and you're starting to farm for those like for those teams, then like you're just going to be replacing a gear piece that just makes them a little bit better. But you're just gonna set them up with DPS, right? So like for this team, like I know that my Ginga hits really hard, so like I'm gonna go ahead, give her the best attack I can give her. Like boom, there we go. And then when I'm looking at my next DPS, I'm like, okay, like what am I gonna give her? I'm gonna give her my next DPS set. Boom. And then when I'm looking at my, you know, my third team, I'm like, dang, like what am I gonna put on her? So that's when I start looking like, okay, what do I have left? Or what do I need to upgrade? Right? So like for me, I have the lifesteal set that I could upgrade because it has decent stats. Like, yeah, it's a lifesteal set, but it has decent stats on it. I have a couple attack set pieces that aren't perfect, but I can still increase that for stats, right? So I just have to use what I got. So let's just say we just use the lifesteal set, because we all have this. It's all a free set. Okay, I haven't gotten the last piece. Anyways, you guys get the point. So that's, you just use what you got. You get the stats from that, and then same thing for your like your healers and stuff. Like you start to look like at the scraps, what you have in health or in speed and stuff like that. And you're not gonna like, not every piece is gonna be perfect, right? Some of it might feel like a waste, but as you're going down to the second and third team, it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, because then you're never gonna have those pieces ready. I say that if you look at your gear, like honestly, if it has at least one decent gold stat in it, or even if it's a gold piece and it has some like at least one or two decent pieces, decent stats for that character, then just go ahead and use it, especially for like a support, bro. Like don't get super like picky for your supports, because like as a free to play, you just don't have the resources for it. You don't have the characters to pull out the damage to make up for a lot of the sets. So you need to use like what you got. Now, if you have like a bunch of gear upgrades that you've just been saving them, then go ahead, right? But just giving you like, you know, something to think about. So we talked about characters to use, saving. We talked about 6-starring, who you're going to 6-star because you're basing that off of a raid team. So now, what activities should you be like working on? What should you be focusing on? So do your mutation waypoints like normal. Do your data collections. Make sure you have everybody tech 6 out. Make sure you're doing your resource collection. Make sure you're getting exclusive armaments, because within this time, if they release any UEs for the characters that you're using, you want to be able to make sure to use that. Make sure to level up the UEs that you have for your characters now. Like if you're using Ryza, if you're using Lila, if you're using Milvis, if you leveled up Neos, Herons, and everything like that. You want to go ahead and level it if you can, of course. Most of us should be, for the regular characters, most of us should be already farming now stage 2, because I know I was behind on my Milvis, and my Milvis is at level 10 now on hers. So start remembering to do this. You have your 3 chances, and you can refresh it more if you have the gems, if you're a whale. So do this, save up, get your cat orbs, upgrade your characters, just continue to farm, stack up on gold, don't be wasting it. I would say, especially for like making the fodder, once you get all your people 6-star, I would honestly stop on fodder and start working on gear. What gear do you want to farm? It depends on the team that you have, right? So Centaur is going to be a decent boss to farm because you get speed and accuracy. And I know the accuracy set is not like the best, but still it can help you make up for stats like on your second and third team if you're not really getting the perfect stats, right? And speed is always not bad. For your DPS right now, I would say, especially with Ryza out, Iron Maiden is going to be the easiest for an attack set because we already have attack set pieces, so you can kind of just make those better. If you are a Mad Lad, then you can start going for the Octopus, which is not a problem at all. You can get the counter engine set. You can get the crit damage set if you can get it. But to me, I just think that the attack, health, and defense sets a little bit better, because then you can get health pieces for your healers with it. So you could farm these 2 bosses for that. For your DPS, you have 3 DPS that you're going to be using. And then also your defense breakers can also use the crit set that comes out of here. Most of you guys should be able to farm stage 9. If you have a decent Centaur team in Roko, right, then you can farm stage 9. If you can't and you're farming like around here, then you do need to plan accordingly, and you do need to find a boss that you can beat stage 9 on. That way you can up those 2 last pieces, and then you can still build the 4 set. But just plan accordingly for what you have. But if you guys got Lila and stuff, you should be able to beat stage 9 on any one of these. You have Ryza, you should be able to beat definitely Iron Maiden and start getting some octopus farming in. So just depends on what you guys got. But that's what I would start doing. Get your 12 up to 6-star. Right? It's definitely possible, especially with all of the energy that we've been burning. Get your 12 to 6-star. Then start gearing out that 12. Do your speed set, attack set, and health set, because you get more out of it. And then your harpist. Like, you can do this if you want. It's just that of the sets, the crit damage is useful. Lifesteal is not really as useful on a raid. And then counter engine is good for like certain situations, but not really. But like here you get the crit set, like you get the immunity set as well. It's just, I don't know. And when I say counter engine set, also I want to clear up that confusion. The counter engine set is the one that gives you action bar boost whenever you get attacked. The actual counter set is in Harpist. So I don't want somebody being like, oh, you're talking about the wrong sets. No. But yeah, again, those are the 3 bosses I would farm. I wouldn't do anything other than that. But that's pretty much it, guys. This video is probably pretty long, but just kind of just helps out on what you want to do, what you want to plan. Could have shortened it, but you guys know that I get pretty windy, especially when I get excited talking about stuff. I just want to help you guys out and start to think of like what to do. Again, if you're free to play, look at blues and reds. If you got it like that, look at blues, because you get more damage. You get easier runs. But then also just use who you like. Just try to be smart about it. Just try to stick with the blues and reds. You can use greens if you really, really want to, but they'll just get hit and they just won't have as much consistent success. So, but just use what you got on your teams, guys. So that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Comment down below what you guys think. I know somebody's going to have something to say, which is fine. Subscribe to the channel also if you guys want to see more AG content. Catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv, Lucky Lex Gaming. I pretty much try to stream every day or every other day. And I stream different games there. And again, 500 subscribers, giving out $50. I might do another different giveaway later on, especially if we probably by the next collab or the next banner or so that people really want to summon on. I might have a giveaway because like I know a lot of people want all of that. But again, the more support I get, because I got to feed my daughter too. But then after I feed my daughter and I have leftover from y'all support, then I can support you guys too. So, the more that you subscribe, the more that you watch the videos, the more you let people know that I'm actually a AG content creator, and it helps out. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You lucky gamers, have a good one. Lucky Lux out.